last night as they beat the Colts 31-25. Baltimore trailed by 19 points early on before rallying in the fourth quarter to force overtime, where Lamar threw the game-winning touchdown to Hollywood Brown, and the former MVP finished with 442 yards and 4 touchdowns. So, Shannon, you know, you've worried that Lamar's inconsistent throwing will possibly hold him back big picture. So can Lamar be consistent enough as a passer to win a Super Bowl? I'm starting to believe that he can, because what I've seen him do over the last 2 games, Skip, these are his 2 worst rushing games as a team since he took over as a starting quarterback. Yep. And over the last 2 weeks, he's thrown for over 700 yards. So what he's showing you is that I can win in different ways than me just running. Think about this, Skip. They said last night they're 2,000 yards ahead of everybody else in rushing since Lamar Jackson took over in the NFL. Let that sink in. That's like, crazy. It's crazy. I mean, nobody is 2,000 yards ahead in passing than somebody else, Skip. Yep. That's how great he's been. And so the last 2 games, the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts said, Lamar, we're not going to give you the run. Skip, if you take away what a team does best, because remember, we talked about it yesterday, what do you take away? Skip, stop the run. You got to stop something. You can't let them have both. If Lamar Jackson throws for 300, 400 yards, after you've taken his legs away, you walk to the middle of the field, you shake his hand, and you say, good job, young man. Yep. Stay healthy, good luck the rest of the way. That's all you can do. Because, Skip, you forced him to beat you in a way that you didn't think he could. Yep. And he did it. So what else can you do? There's nothing else you can say. If whomever it is, Derrick Henry, if you stop them and you force Ryan Tannehill to throw for 400 yards, you're like, you know, hey, Ryan, good job. But you got to take Derrick Henry away. You can't let him. Well, they took Lamar, they took the running game away, and he throws for 442, 85% completion, no picks, and 4 touchdowns. Yep. Skip, if he keeps, and like I said, he just needs to get incrementally better, just a little bit more consistent. Okay. You and I both know he's not going to complete 85% of his passes from here out. But, Skip, he's building on something. He's getting confidence, and they're gaining confidence in him. Okay. He won me over in his 2nd year in this league. He got off to a rocky start, as every rookie seems to do. Yeah. But in his 2nd year, all he did was win the MVP, completed 66% of his passes, and led the league with 36 touchdown passes. He did that. Just extraordinary. Yes. And then he fell off a little bit last year, 64%. He was 26-9. Touchdowns, interceptions, and all of a sudden I look up this year, he's 67% after that masterpiece last night. His numbers are very similar to what he did when he won the MVP, if you look at his numbers as a whole. That looked like an MVP last night to me. Yes. So what's the problem that he faces image-wise? It's not the prettiest throwing motion. Right. It's the opposite of Tom Brady's. Tom is long and flowing with the big follow-through. Lamar's is shockingly compact. It's right here. Right. But guess what? It's deadly efficient. It's right here. It's dart flicking. It's not even dart throwing. It's just pew, pew. It's from right here. And it works because the release is very quick. Yep. It's not a cannon arm. No. But boy, it works. And that throw to Hollywood last night, the 43-yarder? Yeah. It just was right on the money. The one he hit Mark Andrews on the deep over, Skip. Oh, God. It was a big-time throw. So last night, even though he did, this is the one to Hollywood. That'll work. I'd say that's bingo. Yes. On the money, touchdown. And by the way, that throw turned that game around. Absolutely. They're down 22-3 at that point. So last night, he was Brady-esque to me. That was like Tom Brady at his best. It just doesn't look like Tom Brady. Correct. And so when he missed the first early pass to Hollywood in the end zone, which I did not think was a terrible throw, it's just a little off his fingertips. Well, you rather him miss like that, Skip, as opposed to miss and get it picked. Absolutely. At least you got an opportunity to come away from. Yeah, how many did you see hit the back shoulder pad and pop up in the air in the end zone and get picked? Exactly. Well, he doesn't do that. He really operates at a high level, and then there's nobody, well, I don't think anybody in the history of the league has been more lethal as a runner, and I'm including our man Michael Vick, than this kid can. He's sensational. Whoa. I mean, last night's Skip was a performance for that. And just when Josh Allen thought, you know what, I got that AFC Offensive Player of the Week sold up. Lamar said, no, you don't. I think he just snatched it. Lamar said, no, you don't. Nah, bro, you ain't getting it this week. I got it. Well, that was something, and I do think he could throw a team to a Super Bowl. Yes, he's only going to get more confident. Yep.
Guys, I want your opinion on this. J.R. Smith made his college golf debut yesterday. We have the details. Hey, he did it. Lamar Jackson and the Ravens survived an overtime thriller last night as they beat the Colts 31-25. Baltimore trailed by 19 points early on before rallying in the fourth quarter to force overtime, where Lamar threw the game-winning touchdown to this guy, Hollywood Brown. The former MVP finished with 4 passing touchdowns and a career-high 442 yards. So, Shannon, the Colts, they did have a chance to win it in regulation. They missed a field goal. Ooh, tough one over the weekend for so many of those kickers. So did Baltimore win this, or did any lose it?
Baltimore won it. Skipping for the last 2 weeks, what we've seen is teams try to neutralize Lamar Jackson's legs. They say, you know what, Lamar, we're not going to let you and this Ravens offense run wild. If you can throw them to a victory, walk to the middle of the field, say, great job, young man. Hey, hopefully we'll see you down the road. But that was a heck of a performance. He did that in Denver, Skip. Remember, it took the last play to get 8 yards in order for them to go over 100. But he threw for 316. So that was a game that they didn't win it with his legs. They won it with his arms. Clearly, the Colts came in last night and said, we believe last week was an aberration. We don't believe you could do it again. We're going to shut down the run. Lamar says, okay, you don't believe I can throw my team to a victory? Have it this. Skip, the first quarterback to complete 85% of his passes in a 400-yard game. The first quarterback with 400 yards passing, 50 yards rushing, no INTs, and 4 TDs. The highest completion percentage in a 40-pass game. Lamar Jackson did that. Now, I just knew Drew Brees was going to have this record, Skip, because we know Drew Brees has the highest completion percentage. And so I was just thinking, ain't no way somebody got a higher completion percentage in a 400-yard game than Drew Brees. And lo and behold, the guy that many wanted to switch positions, play running back, play wide receiver, did that. Also, I'm glad that Greg Roman gets to keep his job, because it seems when Lamar struggles, everybody wants to get rid of Greg Roman. But I said this before, Skip, if he can just get incrementally better, Skip, he does not need to be Tom Brady, because he possessed something that Tom doesn't have, which is legs. But if he can just get incrementally better, what we saw last night, Skip, he only had one bad throw. That was the touchdown that he missed to Hollywood Brown in the end zone early in the ball game. Other than that,
I'm going to get to that one in a second.
Skip, but other than that, everything was spot on. He was hitting guys between the letters. Guys stick their hands out. He was handing it to them. It's hard for me to say. I watched him in college. It's hard for me to say he had a better game in which he played than what he played last night, Skip. 442 yards. Guess who had the most passing yards in the season, Skip? Isn't that your guy?
Who?
Isn't that guy in the purple and black? L. Jack.
Who is my guy?
You know who your guy is.
I don't know.
The guy he got the 2 most passing yard game this season.
Oh, I thought you meant Dak Prescott.
No. Oh, no, you got 2 guys. You got a bunch of guys.
I got the right guys.
but L. Jack went for 442, Skip.
And by the way, just point of order, you have been somewhat critical of him. He has to be more consistent throwing the football. Okay.
Was that not consistent?
I don't know how you can get much more consistent. You can't get any better than that.
Skip, they won this because Carson Wentz played as well as he's played at any point in time in his career. And
he had his moments.
And you're going to say, well,
it helps when you throw an early swing pass that Jonathan Taylor just takes 76 yards.
Yes. And Skip, the field goal. Calais Campbell blocked one, and it's hard. I don't think anybody has blocked more field goals and PATs than Calais Campbell.
What is it, 6'8"?
6'8". And the reason why the guy hooked it, he was about to block the other one. Had he not hooked it, and he knew that. So that's why he hooked it, because Calais was going to block that one too. Skip, the Ravens won this one. Lamar Jackson was sensational. And after you go, I'm going to show, because Tavon Young almost cost him the game. And a little
with the shove.
With the shove, Skip. But after you, I'm going to show you how I would have handled that situation.
Okay. I can't tell you how impressed I was with Lamar Jackson.
He was sensational, Skip.
Because he got off to a rocky start, as did his team. His team was not ready to play that game because they thought they had it.
I thought they were ready too.
Home, we are going to roll. And all of a sudden, when you least expected it, Carson, your former guy, Carson.
Oh, walking to him. He was walking into him last night.
He flipped it to him. and Jonathan Taylor gets loose. Oh, flip it to him, wins. And he gets loose, and all of a sudden it's 7-0, and it seemed like the Ravens got knocked back on their heels, and it took them 3 quarters to recover on defense because they were just getting gashed.
They were
gashed by running plays where I'd say, what are you guys doing? Where are you tonight? And then Lamar had the fumble down near the goal line. and it wasn't Lamar.
Yes.
And yet they kept showing him sitting on the bench, and he looked unflappable.
Right.
Usually a quarterback in that situation might be hanging his head a little bit. He was just sort of like looking around like, next. We still got game to go here. Just give me the ball back, and we'll get going.
Right.
So back to Jenny's question, well, obviously the Colts had to lose it before Lamar had the opportunity to win it. And the way they lost it was they said Blankenship, the kicker from Georgia, they said he hurt his hip in the pregame. I don't